All right, wagwan folks, I hope all is well. If you clicked on this video, I assume you want to know how to build a muscular physique. Let me insist that the contents of this video are only the basics of what you need to know, because the topic truly runs very deep, and all of this short form content is literally only giving you a tiny little morsel of the puzzle. You need to start watching long form content to educate yourself. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it, huh? Rightio then, first things first, when you first start your fitness journey, you're probably going to try to educate yourself online, and, I respect the attitude, I respect the spirit, been there, done that. You're going to come across a spectrum of two different archetypes, and every single influencer you consume is going to be somewhere along the spectrum. On the left, we have Joe Aesthetics. I used him as an example to represent all of the drug users who love to use Instagram to show flashy exercises that they've probably made up in 30 seconds just to look cool and really show the way the muscle is popping, because, that's all they can do, really. They don't know how to give you good training advice because they didn't need it themselves, right? How can they teach you something that they haven't learned themselves? They got big through drugs. Don't believe all the lies. Oh, it's genetics, hard work. Shut up, bruv. Drugs are very powerful and they downplay it way too much. Let me ask you this. If drugs only did put the icing on the cake and only gave a slight edge, why would there be motherfuckers dying in their 40s because of it if it only gave you a slight little edge? Who would do it, right? Alright, so on the right we have our boy Rip, Mark Ripito. 5 sets of 5 using hip drive. This man is a visionary of sorts. He is the creator of a program you may have heard called Starting Strength. And while it is much superior to the garbage that the influencers on the left of the spectrum spout, it's not great, because it's essentially grooming newbie lifters with zero experience into becoming obese powerlifters. To each his own. He's obviously got his agenda. He has built a business, an empire out of it. But I think, as a newbie lifter, you should be the one to decide whether you pick size or strength. And yes, while they are correlated, you must get stronger to get bigger and vice versa. It's two different attributes that if you focus on one instead of the other, you're gonna skew the ratio towards one instead of the other. So, when it comes to the style of programming that you choose, I would say go for somewhere around here. You want to be focused a bit more towards the compound movements, but never neglect your isolations. So, find one or two fancy exercises that these drug addicted morons are showing you, and squeeze them in at the end of your session, just so you can actually develop the mind-muscle connection that will improve your compound movements, right? Alright, yeah, so you might not even know what isolation compound movements are if you're a complete noob, so let's get back to the very fundamentals. I am not your only source of information. I should never be your only source of information. Not one single person should ever be your one source of information. So, who should you actually watch on YouTube Fitness, and who is actually going to make you small forever? So let's make myself a bit smaller here. Let's start with probably the first person you're ever going to watch on YouTube Fitness, because he's the largest, quite frankly. He has the largest audience of, I don't know, last time I checked it was like 8 million, might be up to 10 by now, who knows. Athlean X, should you listen to him? Big, fat, just skip him entirely. while he can give some good advice about injury prevention and like physiotherapy and shit, he's gonna keep you small forever. Dude overcomplicates things to a vast degree because he wants to present an air of authority, and he low-key wants you to stay small forever, so you're always reliant on him. I mean, dude was literally busted using fake weights to sell a strength program. If that doesn't give you, you know, an idea of what caliber of a man he is, then I don't know what will. Next things next, let's talk about Alex Leonidas, who you may have heard of as Alpha Destiny, but he's on a rebrand now. It's Alex Leonidas, and so I would say big fat yes. Absolutely consume his content, binge all of his videos, and you're gonna have an excellent starting point of knowledge. But don't only watch. While you watch, you should be doing. Don't ever fall into the trap of reading more than you're doing or watching more than you're doing. So, speaking of watching more than doing, let's talk about Joffrey Verity Schofield. Another big fat yes. Absolutely watch his videos. While Alex may be a bit more focused towards strength, not anymore to be honest, Joffrey really is like an all-in-one toolbox of, you know, what you need to know to actually get big and juicy and jacked and stacked. I mean, just look at his physique, man. Natural lifter, hasn't even really come close to his natural potential. I think dude's got a long left. Bruv, shut up, get on with it. Am I right? Yeah, shut up. Another one you may have seen, another one who you may think, oh yeah, I need to watch him. I need to educate myself. Don't, just skip him entirely. Like, if you never watch a single More Plates, More Dates video in your whole life, it's not going to affect your gains in the slightest. Obviously, if you're thinking of taking drugs and turning to the dark side, yes, it is a dark side. Yeah, go watch his content. I'm sure he's very informative on the whole like chemistry side of it. But I am a natural lifter. I will always be a natural lifter, and I hope that anyone who watches me is also going to be a natural lifter forever. And so just skip him. His training advice is pure trash for natural lifters. I mean, if you can even find any of his advice, because, you know, the last time I watched his videos was like a year ago, and to find even a tiny smidgen of training information, I literally had to go back months. So, definitely not his specialty. Again, because of the drugs, he never needed to know how to train. Like, by his own admission, he lifted naturally 1 year and didn't get any results. So, what does that tell you, right? Okay, next things next, Greg Doucette. I'm sure you've watched him. I'm sure he's helped you. You know, he's definitely helped me in some ways. You know, learning how to spot a fraud. So yeah, another big fat. Just skip him unless you want to get just beyond body dysmorphia. If you want to get stuck in the strap or in the trap of being a skinny little DL golem forever, yeah, sure, follow Greg Doucette. Buy his cookbooks, eat his low-calorie garbage that will probably ravish the rest of your body. I mean, yeah, you're going to get a six-pack, you're going to get very lean, but what's the point of being lean if there's no muscle on top of that leanness? You know? So, yeah, just skip him entirely. I mean, I will admit, if you're obese and you want a sustainable way to like lose weight and keep it off, follow some of his recipes. Just a few. Don't buy his cookbook and eat every single one of your meals from it, because you're probably gonna your stomach is gonna bloat from all the fiber and like extra crap he puts in it. But yeah, enough rimbling. Let's start rambling. So, next up we have Coach Paris Butler, or Bald Omni-Man. Big fat yes. Watch him. Dude's got a very intimate understanding of biomechanics, and I would assume he's probably like never had a qualification in it, which just goes to show you that, you know, a lot of the times real life experience is much better than book learning. Just my 2 cents. His advice will get you very big, very strong. He's got some very interesting concepts. It's nothing special, you know. You're not going to be mind blown by the like wow, I've never heard this before. But you're going to get exactly what you need when you need it. So go subscribe ASAP. Next up, we have NH, Natural Hypertrophy. Never watch this guy. He's a complete charlatan and a fraud. He's lying to you. He's not even natural. Only joking. Absolutely watch him. Dude has literally the highest integrity out of anyone I have ever watched in the fitness industry. Simply because he doesn't sell anything. He doesn't monetize his channel. So he literally has no reason to lie to you, unless, of course, he has another even deeper malevolent plan, which is always possible, but I trust his information. His knowledge, it's quite, like, it's probably not a good idea to watch him as your first fitness channel, because I mean, dude literally speaks unnecessarily complicated just so he can show off his fucking French accent and recite poetry and whatever. I mean, it's all love. It's all love. Like, I love the guy, but dude is he can be perceived as pretentious as fuck. But yeah, the depth of his knowledge is insane. You're gonna learn so much. But it's probably going to be a bit too complicated when you first start training. So definitely start watching him a bit later into your journey. If you want a fantastic entry channel that's going to give you all you need to know when you first start training, and even later, like this guy next, Peter Kacharian, absolutely, yes. I mean, dude explains concepts and he makes them very simple. Like, he's just the guy you watch, right? There's not much else to say. I mean, dude isn't complex at all. He doesn't have any like real depth to him. It's just a channel you need to add to your watch list, really. And so now that I've given you a basic overview of who you should watch, I hope the pattern has, you know, gone through, because all of the guys who you probably have heard of before are a big fat X, and probably most of the guys I gave a tick to, you probably haven't heard them. What I mean to say is that when it comes to fitness, and in general, the more mainstream something is, the worse of quality of information it is, because by that point you don't really care about integrity and helping others. You just want more fame, more money, more clicks, and you're gonna do whatever it takes to get them. So, you know, I mean, I will say this. Not Jeff Nippard. Jeff Nippard is the one exception. I should have put him on here for a tick, but fuck it. Too late now, innit? Alright. Next thing's next. The fundamentals. This is going to take a while, so strap up, get your popcorn, and just listen to my fucking annoying voice, alright? This triangle right here, the one that I am currently in the middle of, represents the core concepts of designing your own training program. That is just the most important thing. I believe the person who made this graphic thought that frequency was king. I don't think any of those are king. I believe there is no winner out of intensity, volume, and frequency, because they all just blend together to create the triangle of training, as you can see. So frequency, no, how about this? Let's start with volume. Simply put, volume is how much work you do, you know, how many sets, how many reps. You know, multiply those and you'll get the volume. Intensity is how hard you work. There is relative intensity and absolute intensity. Absolute intensity is the measurable side of it, the one that is like non-negotiable, non-subjective. It's completely an objective number. That is percentage of your 1 rep max. Absolute intensity is your percentage of your 1 rep max. It's a hard number. It doesn't shift unless your strength improves. Relative intensity, on the other hand, is a lot more subjective. It's measured with RPE, or the rate of perceived exertion. This is how hard you think you're working on a scale of 1 to 10 per set. If you have an RPE 10, that means that you went to absolute failure. Not one single possible rep was left to squeeze out. That's it. You did your set to failure. Nothing more was left in the tank. A lot of beginners especially, they don't know how to correctly gauge RPE on a lot of exercises, simply because they haven't ever trained, and so they don't know what failure actually is. So when you first start, your priority should be like trying to learn how to push sets to absolute failure, other than the squat and the deadlift. Always leave at least a rep in the tank for those lifts, because you're just gonna fuck yourself up in the long run if you always push to like nose bleeding, like grinding, just like skitzing out reps, you know what I mean? Okay, now that we've talked about the intensity, let's talk about the frequency. Very simply put, frequency is how often you do your volume and intensity. See what I mean? All of these you can't really separate them. I mean, yeah, of course you can. You can only train one of these variables, and your results will be lacking. So to get the highest amount of results, you need all of them into one concoction. And so there is nothing, not one of those things is higher in terms of priority, because you should be blending them all. So for example, 3 sets of 6 to 10 is your volume. At 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max would be your intensity, with 1 RIR, rep in reserve. That also comes under intensity, which will end up having an RPE of 9. And then you do that twice a week, boom, you got your frequency. I mean, I probably explained that a bit more like verbal diarrhea than it should have been. Like, I definitely could have structured it better, but, you know, this is just a raw video. I'm definitely going to make, like, edited, like, a lot more scripted videos concerning everything that I'm talking about here. But this is just a basic overview where I got a chance just to ramble and just spew, you know? Okay, alright, I think we've covered the pyramid enough. Yeah, make sure to include all of those variables and you'll be fine. Obviously, as long, yeah, writing a program and actually completing it is 2 different things, but yeah, enough of that. Alright, next up, let's talk about the Big 10. Powerlifting has the big 3, squat, bench, deadlift. If you want to maximize your muscular physique, you're going to need a lot more than 3 measly exercises. So I suggest finding the Big 10. I'm going to talk a lot more about exercise selection in the next few slides, because I'm actually going to run you through a beginner program that you can do right away. No thinking, no hesitation. And obviously it's created by me, so yeah, fuck you, Mark Ripperto. I'm sorry. Please don't make me drink a gallon of milk a day. Alright, yeah, so the Big 10 are basically the movement patterns in which you should train. So yeah, you have your horizontal press, which is your bench press, your push-ups, your chest press. You have your vertical press, which is your overhead press, you know, your dumbbell shoulder press, your Smith machine shoulder press if you really want, your handstand push-ups, stuff like that. Stuff that train the vertical movement pattern, you know. Then you have your horizontal pull, which is your rows, basically. Yeah, just your rows. There's no other movement that is a horizontal pull other than rows. But there's so many different styles of rows that, you know, you got all you need, right? Then you have your vertical pull. This is your pull-ups and your lat pull-downs. You know, nothing more to it than that. Those 4 movement patterns, vertical, horizontal, push, pull, these are like the building blocks of your upper body, right? Let's talk about the lower body. You have your hip hinge. This is your RDL, your good morning. Yeah, that's it really. I personally don't class a deadlift a hip hinge because it's a lot more of I think it's more of a hybrid of a knee flexion and a hip hinge. I'll class it as a pull from the floor. How about that? Perfect. All right. Then we have our knee flexion, which is your squat, your leg press, your hack squat, you know, all the big movements that involve you bending your knee basically as you go down. Like your knee should be doing, starting from here and then, you know, yeah. That's what knee flexion is. Very simple. Next up, what do we have? Alright, yeah, so we have 3 more movement patterns left. You have your curl, like elbow flexion, some kind of curl that works your biceps. Then your elbow extension, which is your triceps. This movement here, it can be done from any angle. Just don't do your fucking dumbbell tricep kickbacks, I beg of you. Yeah, then you have... Honestly, there are much more than 10 movement patterns, obviously. But if you have the big 10, you know, you're pretty sorted. And then sorry. The next after elbow flexion and elbow extension, you have your shoulder elevation, lateral raises. That's basically it. There's no other real shoulder elevation. Obviously, you can do them with all kinds of different implements, equipment, and from different angles, of course. But yeah, I would say this is an important movement, but not an essential one. I would say an essential one, though, is your spinal flexion and extension, which is abs, basically. Train your fucking abs, like... Just do it, no excuses, like, just train your abs, bro, like, isolation, directly. Sit-ups, leg raises, just do it, Alright, I'm sorry. That was fucking messy, so, let's go to the next section, which I have a diagram here, in which an individual who is skinny fat attempts to cut. They get skinny, they lose the fat. Great. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Or they bulk and, you know, they get fat. Brilliant. I would say, if you're a noob and you're skinny fat, which is a lot of people, your best course of action is to eat in a small, teeny weeny surplus, you know, around 200 calories extra a day, like a small surplus, so that you can gain as much muscle as you need. Because when you start, you've got your noob gains, that's the fastest ever period of your life in which you'll pack on muscle the quickest. So the rate of muscle which you gain is going to overtake the rate of fat that you gain if you're in a small surplus. Like, I cannot insist how small your surplus should be. I mean, you can also eat at maintenance, but I think it's better to be safe, rather safe than sorry, and eat enough to like let you recover from your workouts. So yeah, skinny fat, small surplus. Just fucking do it, bro. You're not gonna regret it. you're gonna find that you get your noob gains, you gain your base of muscle, and you might have found that you actually bulk your way into abs, because a lot of the skinny fat people, they have completely undeveloped abs. So you know, it's no surprise that they don't show. However, you know, if you slowly bulk as you train your abs, they're gonna push through the fat, and then you're actually gonna see your abs, right? All right, calm, bless. All right, next up, let's talk about. All right, I'm sorry. I use this diagram to show you how much food you should eat in whatever stage you're in. I would say if you're starting and you're obese, you're a big chunker, some may say, you should cut, because you've already got the energy you need. The fat stored can be the energy you use to build muscle. You have a whole reserve of energy just sitting around you. So why not capitalize on it? Get your newbie gains while you cut. Mwah. I mean, it's just the best possible position to be in when you start. Like, honestly, I sometimes wish I was a fat kid, so that when I started training, I would just have cut and just got muscular. I know fat guys from school that were known as the fat kids. They were very clearly and then they got into the gym. Guess what? Their whole physique just transformed so much more than the skinny dudes who had to gain the weight first. Right. So yeah, what to do if you're skinny? I mean, what to do if you're fat? Just cut. You don't have to do it like a crash cut. Like, I would say, do a slow cut. Even if you're fat, do a slow cut to give yourself plenty of time for the muscles to grow. Okay, if you're skinny, do the opposite. Eat. Fucking eat. Just gain weight, you know? You don't have to get obese, right? You don't have to follow Mark Ripperto's gallon of milk a day and all this other fucking masochistic, useless, just idiotic practices that are gonna give you a double chin down to here with a gut that hangs over your knees. Just don't do it, bro. Eat in a moderate surplus if you're skinny, all right? Although if you're skinny, you probably have a very high metabolism, and so you can get away with eating a lot more than you thought you could. That is if your metabolism is in congruence with your appetite. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this to you. If you have a high metabolism and a low appetite, you're going to have to force feed. Like, there's no other way around it. I'm sorry, bro. It's just going to have to be done. I've never had to force feed myself. I just kind of always been able to eat what I needed to gain muscle, but, you know, I appreciate that it's not the same for everyone. So, let's talk about this next pyramid, the triangle. As you can see, this volume, intensity, frequency that I discussed earlier is the base of the pyramid. This is the most important part of your programming knowledge, and all of the training decisions you make should be based on these three things: volume, intensity, frequency. By the way, I promise I'm not burping because I'm like Nether Beast, just a fraudulent motherfucker who claims he's a health guru while always I just downed a Monster Energy before starting. You know, shame on me. You know, I'm a caffeine addict. No. I'm trying to stop, but yeah, that's the way it is. That's probably why I'm talking like an absolute tweaker. But yeah. Again, sidetracked completely. Okay, you have your volume, intensity, and your frequency. That's your base. Next up, you have your progression. How are you actually going to get from A to B? B being a bigger, stronger motherfucker. There are many ways to progress, but I would say when you start out, simple double progression will serve you just fine. You know, you can, if you really want to just like explode your strength, you can do what Mark Ripperto suggests and just slap on 5 pounds every single time you train, you know, you can get away with it when you're a noob. The problem is, it's just going to bang. You're going to run into a huge plateau that you have no idea how to get over because the practices you have, you know, made yourself accustomed to don't allow for it, you know. If I can't add 5 pounds on anymore, and that's all I've ever been doing to progress, then, you know, where do I go from there? Very simple. Just add reps, bro. Add reps. You can do 4 reps 1 week or one of your sessions. Next session, if you're still doing the same exercise, try to get 5 reps, you know. Next session, 6 reps, you know. As a beginner, you should be able to add reps very smoothly, without any hesitation. And it's just going to set you up a lot better in the long run, rather than just like charging headfirst into a brick wall, the way Mark Ripito wants you to do, where you just add 5 pounds and add 5 pounds. If you can't add 5 pounds, just next week try to add 5 pounds, you know. There's no real complexity to it, and, you know, it shows in his physique, let's just say that. Oh, mate, I'm absolutely bashing Rip. I love you, man. You're a provider of memes, and, you know, that there's nothing greater than that. Right, so you have your progression in place, you know how to get from A to B. You're just going to add reps for now. For now, all you need to do is add reps. And then, obviously, once you reach a rep target, you can add the weights, you know. Add 5 pounds then, you know. Exercise selection is the next the next order of priority. And obviously, doesn't need much explanation. It's just the selection of exercises that you use. Alright? Calm, yeah. And then other is all the way at the top, the least important thing, you know, but it's the thing that most Instagram influencers will have you focus on because, you know, in other, it's a very vague category, so you can invent a whole bunch of fluff and pump garbage. You just have to market it correctly, that's the thing. You can hyper-focus on like, really, like, time under tension, bro. I got the tempo. I got 4 seconds on the negative. Bruv, shut up. Just shut up. That's the least important thing, right? I hope that this diagram makes you aware of this. By the way, I did not create this diagram. I did not create any of these images. These are images that I found on reputable strength and muscle sources. You know, you don't have to take my word for it. Do a reverse image search. See where they come from, and, you know, go from there. You don't have to. Probably not going to. So yeah, let's get into the real meat of the video. I already kind of did a little nip slip. So the last image here is upper lower versus full body. This is your training split. It doesn't matter as much how you split up your training as long as the volume, intensity, and frequency are all good. Muscle splits are just a means to make it simpler, to manipulate your volume, intensity, and frequency. Like, honestly, when you get to like an advanced stage of your lifting journey, you're not going to have any need to stick to upper lower, push-pull legs, full body, bro splits. Like, your program is going to look like an absolute monstrosity. Like, that's the whole point. It should be unique to you and your goals and your needs. So yeah. Bless. All right. Next slide. Nope. Okay. Now we have my full body beginner program that I only remade yesterday because 2 years ago I wanted to have my own like novice program out there for people to use if they wanted to, if they didn't want to become a powerlifter with a beer belly. I'm sorry, not a beer belly, a milk belly. But yeah, I recreated this yesterday to make it a lot more applicable for the purposes of actual hypertrophy, building muscle, getting aesthetic, bruh. So yeah, when I fully release this template and I actually make it a lot more presentable, I'm gonna call it starting size, just to you know, give a little cheeky dig to Rip. I hope he doesn't sue me. I mean, I don't see why he would. You know, SS. You know, he's not the first person to come up with that. Let's just say that. Unless he's copyrighted the word starting, you know, could be done. Definitely gonna have to, you know, call my lawyers to call his lawyers. You know, yeah. Talking like a man who has his own lawyers. All right, shut up and get on with it, you fucking. Blah. All right. So, if you are starting and you don't know where to start, you don't know how to create your own training plans, just follow mine, right? Full body is probably the best way to train when you first start, because your whole body is a weakness and you kind of have to get everything up, you know, to establish a base to then build from there. So day one, oh shit, it's not meant to say AAC. I just realised I fucked it. It should be ABC, but, you know, oh well. So day A, it could be Monday, Tuesday, it doesn't matter. Like, honestly, like, choose whatever days of the week you want to do this program, but make sure to leave at least a day in between each where you don't train at all, you know, because it's a full body session. You need to give your muscles enough time to recover. You know, obviously. So, yeah, alright. Day A, you start with a pull-up. The reason you start with a pull-up rather than a bigger, heavier movement is because novices are normally suck at pull-ups. Not rude to say, you know, I was a novice myself. I couldn't even do one, like, clean, full range of motion pull-up when I started, and that's okay, you know. There's a lot of ways to progress into it. Like, now I can crank them out like nothing. My top set was 30 kilos added weight for 8 reps. You know, it wasn't a very sexy technique, but just to say, you can make huge progress if you stick with it. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna start with pull-ups. If you can't do a pull-up yet, that's fine. Every single gym I've ever been to, without fail, has an assisted pull-up machine in which you can, use less of your body weight. The machine assists you, as is in the name. So you're going to do that. That's what you're going to use to progress. You're going to get on the assisted pull-up machine, leave your ego at the door. You're not going to care about these dudes who are in the gym alongside you, just repping out the pull-ups as though they weigh like biscuits. It's fine. Go at your own pace. Leave your ego behind. Learn correct technique. Learn how to engage your back to pull. Because a lot of people, they start by pulling with their arms because, you know, they haven't yet developed the ability to pull with their back. So for this, I would recommend not squeezing the bar like with your hands. I'd recommend using a thumbless grip like this, like so. This is going to help you engage your lats a lot better. I promise. Alright? Please trust me. Yeah, okay, so you're going to do 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps. What does that mean, huh? What do these numbers mean? Okay, so first time you ever do it, you're going to do 2 sets, and you're going to pick a weight, because obviously you don't know how much you can lift first. You're going to work your way up until you can lift a weight that you can do at least 2 sets of 6 reps with. If you can't complete that, then it's a sign that you need to lower the weight. Simply put. Next time you do this, you're going to come back and you're going to try to get 1 extra rep on each of your sets. You know, you're probably going to be able to as you're a novice and you make progress like this. And when you can get to 2 sets of 10 reps, you can just up the weight. So when it comes to the assisted pull-up machine, you actually lower the weight because it's gonna give you more of your own body weight to use. So yeah, next week just reset it, like up the weight, and then get as many reps as you can, and so on and so on and so on. until you can no longer make progress. That's when you go to 3 sets. You add another set in, and then the cycle just repeats itself. And then once you can get the higher end of the rep range with all 3 sets, you can up the weight and put it back down to 2 sets. Listen, alright? I know that might be a bit complicated if you're a novice and you're hearing this for the first time. Don't worry about that for now, because honestly, you're going to make progress just fine using only 2 sets. Like, only start worrying about adding another set in once you actually have been training for at least, I would say, 6 months minimum. Like, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. Just make progress with as few sets as you can while you can, right? So that's going to be the theme for the rest of the exercise selection. When you see the 2 to 3, like the range of sets, just worry about the lower range, alright? Okay, calm, bless. Okay, next exercise on day A is going to be the squat. You know, obviously, great fucking exercise. Is going to work the whole of your lower body. I mean, not your calves or your hammies, really. Don't tell Rip I said that, though. Yeah, and you're going to do 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps. Yep. Again, progression is going to be the same, but as opposed to the pull-ups, you're actually going to be able to add weight a lot faster on the squat because it's a big, heavy movement. You know, if you can't even squat the empty bar yet, that's fine. Just start with your body weight and then load the easy bar because it's obviously lighter, and then load the big barbell if you can't start with it already, because we all start at different levels. So don't be like, don't feel jealousy if you and your mate start at the exact same time and he is immediately lifting more than you. That's just the way of life, man. There's nothing we can do about it, you know. We were all each given a set of cards. It's up to us how we play them. So, it is what it is. Just don't get discouraged. I know it's easier said than done, but, you know, just don't get discouraged and stop training entirely. Alright, so after the squats, we have pause bench. This is very simple. Do a bench press. You're probably going to want to start with this exercise on this day. I understand, right? I understand. But hear me out, alright? Hear me out. Fuck. I just realised that I didn't change some of the things here that I should have. Oh. Alright, fuck it. You're gonna want to start with this exercise, but trust me, start with the pull-ups because it's harder, and it's actually using your lats to pull yourself up is gonna give you is gonna open the session by putting your shoulders in a more retracted position, which is gonna be great for the squat because you kind of have to like squeeze the bar into you when you squat. Sounds painful for now, but trust me, bro, just do it. And obviously, when you bench press, you need to retract and depress your shoulder blades. Doing the pull-up first is going to help with that massively. Okay, all right. And then, after you do the bench press, 2 to 3 sets of 4 to 6 reps, you are going to do biceps and triceps. It doesn't need much coaching. The first time you pick up an easy bar curl, you're probably going to work out how to squeeze your biceps. It's very, very easy. And then your triceps. So the reason it's a slash is because this is going to be a superset. At the start, you don't have to make this a superset because it might take like a few tries before you can like feel the muscles working. So just get used to going through the motions and feeling the way your muscles working on 2 separate exercises involving biceps and triceps, and then once you got a feel for it, you can just superset it. You know, you need to get into the habit of doing supersets as early as possible, because what's the point of doing a set of curls and then resting for 3 minutes, looking at your phone. You know, it blows my mind that people, like, it's a common practice. It shouldn't be, okay? Next up, we have an isolation superset. This is when you use your critical thinking skills to determine what muscles are your priorities to bring up. We have here, down here, a whole list of different isolations you can do for each body part. Just have a look and pick what you want and use this isolation superset as a chance to experiment and find what movements you enjoy doing for each muscle group, you know. Most novice programs, they tell you to do this, you know, follow my command. I would much rather give you the freedom to make your own decisions as early as possible. So, you know, don't fiddle around with the first 4 exercises I've given you. But now when it comes to the isolation superset, you know, have fun with it. I've put my recommended superset for the isolation is pullovers with weights, like weighted pullovers using dumbbells, but preferably an easy bar, because it expands your rib cage and it is literally one of the most slept on movements ever, because what it does, it doesn't just work your chest and your lats, it expands your rib cage if you breathe with it. I just don't know how best to describe it, but it doesn't just like make it like make you look a bloated, like look like a barrel or something. It makes ribcage shape, and it really enhances that V taper. It really gives you that extra like pop at the top. So my recommendation is just to start doing them as early as possible into your training. You know, noob gains plus ribcage expansion. Mwah! Like, bro, you're gonna kill it if you do that. But then again, you know, don't have to listen to me. You can still choose your own isolations to do. And then once you have, you know, played around with it a bit, start adding more of these exercises into your superset. But don't end up with like I would say no more than 4 exercises should be in a superset. But yeah, make sure one of them is the pullovers. Just do it, bro. You're not gonna regret it, all right? My recommended superset is pullovers / abs. That doesn't mean that you have to do pullovers and then abs. It just means that I would recommend, let's say for example, week 1 on day ABC, it's pullovers, abs, pullovers, and then the next week you flip it, and then, you know, to the rest of your superset, you choose your own exercise. That's just a recommendation, because I believe everyone should start training abs as early as possible, because, bruv, all of this bullshit about abs are made in the kitchen, that's a crock of utter nonsense. I used to fully believe it. I used to preach that message. But, yeah, abs are not made in the kitchen, you dimwit. Abs are revealed in the kitchen. But if there's not much to reveal, you're going to have to get a lot leaner than you think before you can see your abs. But if you develop your abs, if you like increase their size, muscular-wise, you'll be able to see them at a higher body fat percentage. Like, isn't that fucking amazing? As well as that, developed abs just look so much better. There's a difference between the aesthetic of someone who's shredded, bruh, who hasn't ever trained their abs, who can just see them really well, versus a motherfucker like natural hypertrophy, who's trained their abs for years and made them very juicy and succulent, and who doesn't even have to get that lean to show them, but it still looks better than the lean guys. So what does that tell you? All right. Enough rambling. Let's get back to it. All right. Day B. Yes, this is day B. Ignore the A at the top. You're gonna open with a deadlift, because it's just a fantastic, like, almost. It's not a full body exercise, right? It barely works the front of your body in the slightest. It basically works the entire back of your body, but it doesn't work any one area particularly well. But that's fine if you're a novice, because you know you just need to get bigger all over. So the deadlift is perfect. The reason I have 1 to 2 sets is because it's a very intense exercise that takes a lot of recovery. Like the fatigue it generates is unbelievable. So you're going to start off with only 1 set of 4 to 6. It's going to be easy as piss to make progress. You're probably going to find as a novice that 1 week you get 4 reps, the next week of the same weight you might be able to even get 7. I mean, you shouldn't go for that, definitely not, because the 7th rep is going to be ugly as fuck and, you know, could lead to Snap City, but hey ho, the way she goes. Do your deadlifts, you know, do clean reps, and do 1 set of 4 to 6. You know, you don't even have to up the reps every time. You can literally slap on weight every session until you plateau, and only then you need to start adding reps. Mate, the deadlift is amazing for progress, and just, you know, just... Next exercise is the overhead press. This is my favourite exercise, but I don't do it anymore that much because it's just so much stronger than my bench press, proportionally speaking, so I need to make my bench press catch up. Only from a muscle building standpoint, because my pecs are also lagging compared to my shoulders. Shut up. Yeah, you're going to do this for 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps. A lot of novice programs are going to have you do overhead press for sets of 5, but I believe that it's essential to get your shoulders accustomed to like higher rep stress, and just make your delts a lot more fatigue resistant. It's just going to serve you so much better in the long run, and obviously it's going to be easier to progress with a larger rep window. So yeah, 2 sets, 6 to 10. Keep making progress on that. When you can no longer do so, add a 3rd set in. Simple. I mean, it might not be, but it will be simpler. Just keep watching my videos. I'm gonna make much more structured content. Don't worry about it. Bless. All right. After the overhead press, we have the lunge. I put alternating because a lot of people, they might be tempted to just do one leg at a time and really burn themselves out, and then when it comes time to switch legs, zero energy, all zapped. It's gonna be a fucking nightmare. Just do your lunges and alternate your legs. So every rep, switch leg. Just switch leg each rep. It's not going to affect you actually going to failure. In fact, you're actually going to be able to get more reps this way because you give yourself a slight break in between, which doesn't matter, right? It's time under tension, bro. Shut up, all right? You're still going to muscular failure. It doesn't matter. And it's just better for your energy levels because you're able to do the set in one go. You know, you don't have to split it into 2 halves of a set. By the second half, you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. All right, enough. Next, bicep, triceps, same as before. Yeah, not much explanation. The reason I give you like a larger rep window, 8 to 12 might be more common, is because, especially for the triceps, you really need to learn how to go to failure, because like very few people take the triceps and the biceps to true failure because the pain gets a bit much. And so, this rep range will nullify that because now you don't have an excuse. Now you can't, you have a lot more room to progress, and when you finally get back to the lower end of the rep range, you're just going to be able to pack on more weight. You don't have to, but, shut up, Matt. Okay, alright. Isolation superset, I already explained it. Nothing needs to be said. 3 sets, 10 to 20. Bless. The reason I give such a big rep range for this is because different exercises lend themselves better to different reps. For example, sets of 10 on the pullovers are perfect. You can even do sets of 6 on the pullovers, but with exercises like, where is it? With exercises like neck curl, neck extension, calf raise, power shrug, stuff with a small range of motion, you're going to have to up the reps, because if you try to do lower reps on that, it's just not going to go well. It's going to be ugly fucking reps. So yeah, that's why it's 10 to 20. But honestly, if I was feeling a bit cheekier, I would have made it 3 times 6 to 30, because that's literally how wide the range is that you could possibly go for isolations. But I just thought I would simplify it. Fuck me, bro. I'm really giving off nether vibes, aren't I? My God. Okay. Day C, your last day, you're going to open with a pause squat. This is not the same as the squat you did at the start of the week, because that squat will be just, you're trying to go to parallel, and you're not power bombing out of the bottom, but you're not stopping either. You're making it obviously you're slowing down before you get to the bottom, but there's still a little bounce as you come out of the bottom, but not in the pause squat. A lot of novice programs would have you do a box squat. I think that's a terrible idea. It doesn't teach you how to squat well, honestly. It gives you terrible habits. You're gonna be like good morning it. You're gonna use the box to push off. Like, come on, bro. Do a pause squat instead. It's gonna serve you so much better. You're gonna build up insane strength in the bottom. Like right now, all I'm doing is pause squats. I don't do a single parallel bouncing squat. I go full ass to grass, pause at the bottom, up. I mean, I'm kind of forced to do it because I have a QL issue that would not go well if I did bouncing squat. No, that would be terrible. All right, shut up, get on with it. All right. Yes, you can do pause squats. You're going to get to as low as you possibly can, literally. If you can go ass to grass, perfect. But most novices have terrible mobility, so just go as low as you can and do a little pause. Once the pause is over, don't sink lower and then give yourself momentum to come back. Just explode up. Just pause, explode up. Easy, simple. All right. Next exercise is the barbell row. Yes, it's going to be a bent over barbell row. You're going to be standing. You're going to be hinging. That's okay. There's been a lot of discussion in the fitness community about the barbell row being like not a good upper back exercise, because you need a lot of spinal rigidity and constant tension on the lower back and your hamstrings. I agree. I never do standing bent over barbell rows anymore, because I just don't want to. I don't particularly like them very much. But for a novice, all of the drawbacks are actually positives. You get, the weights you're going to use, it's not going to matter that you need to keep your spine rigid and your hamstrings flexed. In fact, it's a very good movement to do to actually build up the static strength in those muscles that you're going to require for pretty much every single big, heavy compound movement. And you get extra volume for your lower back and hamstrings, which it actually does count as volume for those areas. Don't believe the bullshit. Do your barbell rows, boys. It's gonna be, you're not gonna regret it. The thing is, don't try to slap on too much weight too quickly, because you are gonna start to cheat. The reps are gonna look very ugly. Keep it strict. Keep it as strict as you can, as long as you can. But you're gonna get to a point where a bit of cheating is inevitable. Okay. Next up, fuck me, I really fucked this up. If you want a resource of this, I'm actually making all of this information here, into a more detailed format that I'm going to make free. It's going to be a free program. I'm going to put it together. It's going to be a lot nicer looking than this. And I'm actually going to, leave out the errors. This is not supposed to be a pause bench. I copied this list and I forgot to change the pause bench here. it's supposed to be a regular bench press, touch and go, not catapulting off your chest, just like, you know, wait. Constant motion, you're not pausing at the bottom, you're just, yeah, touch and go bench, yeah, easy. And it's not supposed to be 4 to 6 reps, it's supposed to be 6 to 10 reps, so my apologies for that. It's very confusing, I know, I'm an idiot, just roast me, and I'm gonna make it all right when my free, like, actual, like, template comes out. It's not just gonna be words on a paper. I'm gonna make it very presentable and aesthetic, bruh. And it's gonna be free, of course, because, you know, I'm just that guy. I'm just that guy, you know. Free knowledge and wisdom, baby. Alright, shut up, Matt. Just shut up. Get on with it. Alright. Isolation superset is going to be next after this, and I've put in brackets U because this is going to be an upper body isolation superset. So you can use this to just have fun with it, you know. You can do your biceps and triceps again if you want to. Sure, no problem with that. You have the freedom to make your own choice. Whatever muscle group you want to prioritize the most, this is what you will use it for, okay? You know, you don't have to take my recommendation if you don't want like a sexy, like a V-taper by the gods with abs that just look succulent. You can do something else, you know. Not everyone has the same goal physique, and that's absolutely perfect. That's exactly the way it should be, you know. We should all have like slight differences. That's what makes it so fun, you know. Okay, next isolation superset is L for lower. So you're gonna want to start practicing what it feels like to do lower body isolation. I mean, don't get it twisted. You can still do lower body isolation on any of those days where I have you do an isolation superset. But this one is targeted. This one you have to do a lower body isolation, just so you can get used to it. I mean, I would personally recommend calves. Like, start training your calves. You're gonna regret it. Like, I regret that I never trained my calves. I still don't, because that's just the way she goes sometimes. But yeah, I mean, yeah, train your calves and you won't regret it later. You know, I would recommend also leg curls. Yeah, do your leg curls. Favor leg curls over leg extensions, because it's a lot healthier for your knee to do this rather than this. Especially with the way the leg extension machine is designed, you're going to get a lot of like knee pressure in this position. However, when you leg curl, all of the tension is the other way around, and so you really need to isolate those hammies if you actually want to see them grow, because Romanian deadlifts, they're a fantastic exercise, but they don't work all of the functions of the hamstrings. Your hamstrings also want you to be able to bend your knee like that. And honestly, just start doing them, because your knees feel like $1,000,000 if you do leg curls regularly. But hey ho, the way she goes, you can just do them with bands as a part of not your training program, just something you do every single day for like just to get the blood flow in, and it literally won't affect any of your big heavy movements. I promise, alright? You can trash your hammies on the leg curl, and your squat performance will not be impacted. You know, this is a guarantee. Okay, there we go. I've explained to you the full body template. Now let's head over to upper lower. Oh, hang on. I need to piss. 1 second. Okay, where's my face going? Oh yeah, there it is. Fucking idiot. Guess who's back? Back again. Matt is back. Get on with it. Alright, upper lower is another fantastic template. It's also very friendly for beginners, because there's a lot more room to experiment and play around with this split instead of full body. The only thing is, it's 4 days a week instead of 3, and personally I think when you just start, 3 days a week is it's perfect. You don't need any more. Matter of fact, I'm doing the main bulk of my training is 3 days a week, full body. Only it's very different to the one I showed you. It's a lot more volume, a lot more supersets. It's a fucking mess, but it's a program that worked well for me. And by the way, just to say, I prefer upper lower. I used to do 5 days a week upper lower arms. But now I'm doing martial arts again, like actually going to a club instead of just pounding the bag at home. And 5 days a week just isn't going to cut it. I need to reduce. Yeah, no one asked, right? Yeah, no one cares. Get on with it. Get on with it. All right, upper A is going to be back focused. It's going to involve 2 compound movements for your back and only 1 for your pushing, because it's going to be back focused. All right. Okay. So you're going to start with a pull up. Same again. Same progression approach as you would with full body. If you can't do pull ups, get on the assisted pull up machine, or maybe get some bands. If your strength is enough that you can crank out like 2 clean pull-ups, get yourself a band. Like, it's actually better for the strength curve because it's harder at the top, which is the way pull-ups are supposed to be. Not like these absolute morons at the gym who just do half reps at the top. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was very bitter and resentful. I purge myself of negativity. Okay. Yeah, okay. This time you're going to do sets of 4 to 6 because you're opening with this, and you're going to want to treat it as more of a heavy movement to get your strength progression in so that you can, start slapping on weight a lot quicker. So yeah, if you can do 2 sets of 6 body weight pull-ups, that's calm. Just add some weight, Start with like 2.5 pounds or 1.25 kilograms. Just do it, innit? All right. Next up, we have the bench press. You knew it was coming. Yeah, it's going to be a bench press Rooney of 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 10. Calm. Again, it's not going to be a pause bench. It's going to be a touch and go bench. Without being a bouncing, catapulting maniac who clearly wants to destroy their ribcage. All right. Next up is going to be a cable or a machine row, but in reality, it can be any row that spares your lower back because you're going to need your lower back on the lower body day that comes after. See, that's the thing with upper, lower, and barbell like standing rows, like. It's kind of an upper and a lower exercise at the same time, kind of like a deadlift but in reverse. But yeah, no, bruv, sidetracked, am I right? Yeah, you're going to do a cable or a machine row, and I would say try to pick the cable row because that's going to be the exercise that people who don't know how to feel their back working, it's just going to click for them and it's going to be like, oh shit, this is what it feels like for my back to work. And back, because you can't see it, you can't like look around and watch how it squeezes. It's a very difficult muscle to get that like initial mind-muscle connection with. So yeah, do your cable rows and you should be able to develop that connection a lot sooner. Okay. Yeah, after that, arms superset, same biceps, triceps, you can do forearms if you so wish as well, add them into the superset. Yeah, simple stuff, 3 sets of 8 to 15, no explanation necessary. And then again, you have an isolation superset. Obviously, this time you should make it focused towards the upper body, of course, no doubt about it. So yeah, that's it, upper A, very simple, straightforward. Now, let's go to lower A. You're going to open with a pause squat. Or are you? Yeah, I don't actually know what I was thinking. I think I might have to reverse the order of the 2 upper lower days. But that's fine, that's fine. Do a pause squat. Just do a pause squat, alright? You know what? Make your choice. Do a pause squat or a regular squat. It doesn't matter on this day because the next exercise you do is going to be a Romanian deadlift, which isn't going to be anywhere near as taxing as a full deadlift. So yeah. Do a pull squat or do a touch and go squat. The next exercise is obviously Romanian deadlift. This is going to teach you how to hip hinge. I didn't have a pure hip hinge in the full body template, quite frankly, because I didn't really know how to fit it in. I mean, if I was to do that, I would say that replace the deadlift on day B. If you want to learn how to hip hinge, replace the deadlift with a Romanian deadlift and you'll be Gucci. Alright, Romanian deadlift, 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 10. It might sound a bit low for the RDL, but as a novice, I'd much rather have you hit mechanical failure rather than... I'd much rather you get mechanical tension rather than the metabolic stress of like getting a big pump, something like that. I mean, if you're a novice, you wouldn't have had a fucking clue what I just said. Sorry about that. After the Romanian deadlift, you're going to do abs and calves superset. This is a piss easy superset. If you're out of breath at the end of an abs and calves superset, I understand. Might have been skipping cardio, but if you can't complete this, seriously reevaluate your priorities, because this is just a superset that you can work in with actually, quite frankly, anything. You can superset abs with almost anything. You can superset calves with almost anything. So I'm just going to get you to superset them with each other for simplicity's sake. Here is where it can get a bit confusing, because I have 2 different rep ranges here, simply because you can't use the same rep range for both of these exercises. So on abs, 3 sets of 8 to 12, perfect rep range. Can't really say more than that. They lend themselves very well to that rep range. Keep progressively overloading, obviously. If you pick a sit up, start adding weight to the sit up. Make sure it's behind your head so that you can't use your arms to cheat it up. And if you're doing a hanging leg raise, just progress by putting a dumbbell in between your legs. Easy. And then for calves, you're going to want to do like higher reps, simply because it's a very short movement with a very small range of motion. So doing a set of 10 for calves is a bit redundant, because you're probably going to be using garbage form, or you're just not going to be going anywhere close to failure. So yeah, do 20 to 30 reps on calves, and it's going to fucking hurt. I know, it's not going to be very fun. But just do it, unless you want chicken legs forever, like your boy. So yeah, no, I'm not going to have chicken legs forever. I'll train calves one day. Telling himself that for 2 years now. Yep. Alright. Next up we have an isolation superset. And I put it as optional because, honestly, lower body days, because they have heavy movements that you can get a lot of tonnage, which is volume with intensity, basically. You can make them very minimal, especially when you start lower body days. Like, I cannot stress just how optional this superset is. Obviously, there's not much you can do apart from just leg extensions and leg curls, maybe a sissy squat. I would say this though: you can train traps on your lower body days. Yes, it's not part of the lower body, but because you're going to have a lot more space at the end of your day, because it's more minimal by nature, just throw in a few. You can start throwing in upper body muscles that you didn't work the previous day, and you'll be absolutely fine. Unless, of course, you do 2 different presses 2 days in a row. Like, if you try to do overhead press on your lower body day, bench press on your upper body day, that's not going to work for very long. You might make good progress for 3 weeks, maybe 4, and then after that, yeah, it's not going to go well for you, buddy. Alright, yeah, this was the upper A, lower A, and then you have 4 days of upper, lower in a week. So the next 2 days, by the way, the days are back to back, and then Format it like upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, rest, rest. There's your 7 days. Easy as piss to implement, right? Yeah, calm. All right. See, upper B, you're starting with a bench. Yay! Finally, day where we start with a bench press. Yeah, I knew you were fucking gagging for it, right? All right, calm. You're gonna start with a pause bench. So instead of bouncing off your chest, you're gonna let it come to a dead stop, remove the momentum, and then heave it up. It's gonna develop very, very good bottom portion strength. Alright, and then we have the pull-up again, but this time it's in a higher rep range because, you know, you actually want to, you know, not just work them for strength, you also want to get a nice burn in the lats. Honestly, this rep range should have been bigger. I should have made it 6 to 12, but it's calm, innit? Just progress how you know best. And honestly, I'm leaving you a lot of freedom. You know, you don't have to listen to a single word I say. You know, tell me to go fuck myself. You know, have at it. Yeah. After the pull-ups, it's the overhead press. You can do this standing, seated, dumbbells, barbells. Don't matter. I would personally recommend standing barbell when you start, simply because it's a freaking fantastic exercise. Just cream of the crop. Going to build you a huge shoulder girdle. You know, even some of your upper back will be worked with the standing overhead press. As long as you don't use leg drive and turn it into a push press. But, you know, different matter for a different time. So after you do your overhead press, you can do an arm superset. And after the arm superset, you're going to do an isolation superset. And again, with the full body, exactly the same as with the full body, for the isolation superset, you can start adding in more exercises as your work capacity and the amount you'll be able to do each session starts piling up. So yeah, not much left to say. Lower B, you have your deadlift. Ooh, I would say if you want, you can make this. You can make this your lower A day because deadlift is going to be more taxing, no doubt about it. But then again, because your back is going to be a lot fresher than the other day, because this upper B is focused more on your pushing exercises, you know, you can very easily do deadlift the next day. You'll have zero impact, and actually you'll have 2 days just of rest and recovery after this before you start your training cycle again. You know, perfect. Again, start with just one set. One hard set is all you need for the deadlift when you start. Again, you know, you can do 5 instead of 4 to 6. You can do one set of 5 and just keep slapping on plates until you can't progress anymore. Then you start adding the reps. And then once you can't add reps anymore, start add another set. Calm. Alright. Next, deadlift. This is supposed to say more out of less weight squat. So you should never deadlift and do a heavy squat on the same day. However, you can do a deadlift and a lighter variation of a squat. So this can be your hack squat, your Smith machine squat, with the legs all out in front of you to really target your quads. You can even do a front squat, although I don't know how much I'd recommend for a novice to start front squatting. It's a very technical lift. Not that great for like stimulus of your quads, despite popular opinion. I mean, obviously this is just my opinion, so you know I can go fuck myself, alright? Alright, so yeah, you can also do a pause squat on this day. Switch the first lower day to touch and go squat and use a pause squat here. And you should try to make it a high bar squat, unless you're a lankety fucker and high bar literally just is impossible for you. But different topic, different video. Alright. Yeah, this can also be a plat squat in which your heels are elevated, therefore making you weaker and targeting your quads a lot more. Calm. 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12. This is maybe the first time in the whole program where you see this rep range that is very popular. And the reason you're going to do this out of less weight squat is because that's another way to get more out of less weight, by just doing more reps. So yeah, the reason it's a high rep range is because after the deadlift you're going to be taxed, so it's better not to do heavy squats, right? I mean, it's just logic, right? Alright, calm, bless. Next, abs and calf superset. Already explained it, nothing needs to be said. Isolation superset optional, yep, nothing needs to explain, already been said. Yeah, that is it. No more slides are left to discuss. I hope that you have found this useful. Honestly, when I watch it back, I'm probably going to be just disgusted with how much rambling I did, but the whole point of this video was to be a raw, uncut, just authentic style of video where I just spill my heart out and try to explain things spontaneously with only a bit of preparation just to give me a guide. And I'm definitely going to be making more videos in this style, but don't worry, because if you found this confusing, I'm going to make a template that, writes it out in clear, non-rambling English that is a lot more structured, clearly. So yeah. Take it easy, stay safe, stay tuned for that, because it's going to be free. You're not going to, it's not going to cost anything, so you might as well, right? But yeah, I think that has been it for now. God, it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes. Fuck me. My God. Alright. Stay safe, broskies, and never stop slaying.